everyone needs a name. How else would you know whose coffee was whose? Case in point, this either belongs to me or some guy named Aldorb. The problem is that thinking up names for video game characters can be a difficult process. You want something that sounds cool, but not so cool that it seems ridiculous. Unless you can somehow manage to make it both.
B.J. Blazkowicz. I should have known only you would be dumb enough to do a daytime entry.
With that in mind, here are 7 of our favourite ridiculous names from video games. Enjoy and beware of spoilers for the following games. Now for my coffee.
Hello, sorry, my name's Aldorb. I'm looking for my coffee, please.
Look, no one's called Aldorb. You can't possibly be called Aldorb.
No, actually, yes. Aldorb Mountbatten, yeah.
Look, it says Andy. Look, that's an N. That's definitely an N.
I can see a D, O, and an R, and a B.
Well, I can see a D and a Y. And actually, I can see a D right now. You can get out of here. You D.
You.
Yeah, get out of here, Aldorb.
Peace won't just come to us, Doc. We are going to have to meet it halfway. V for victory.
The problem with doing a list of curious names is that not everyone can be from a game by Hideo Kojima, or at least not since his attorney, prosecuting Octopus, got in touch. That said, we are legally permitted to use one name, but which to choose? Hideo Kojima is, after all, the man whose games have given us such gems as Fat Man and Jetstream Sam, none of which you'll notice appear on the list of the most popular baby names in 2019. For our money, however, Hideo Kojima's greatest achievement in the field of kooky names is the character from Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, known as Hot Coldman.
CIA station chief for Central America. Goes by the name of Hot Coldman.
Hot Coldman is the CIA station chief of Central America in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and his name, I want to reiterate, is Hot Coldman.
If I'm to sell my new system, you and yours have got to go.
Wait, Coldman.
Presumably the designers wanted to underline the contradictory nature of man with an oxymoronic moniker, and other names left on the reject pile probably included Tall Short Guy, Dry Wet Man, and Biggie Small Dude. I don't know though, this is a character from the man who also gave us the very literal name Skullface for a man with a skull for a face. I'm surprised he didn't go with wheelchair pushstairs, because of the, yeah, you know.
Guess I'll just have to take your legs for myself.
If we were going to associate Dark Souls with any medical condition, it would probably be acute hypertension. But there's also a Dark Souls boss whose name sounds like the sort of thing you'd definitely want to report to your doctor before it got any worse. You guessed it, it's Ceaseless Discharge. It's not just the discharge, Doctor, it's the ceaselessness of it. Poor old CD, as we'll call him from now on, just in case you happen to be eating, is a huge, tragic figure and technically an optional boss, only becoming hostile if you attack him or rob him of his dead sister's clothes. Or if you're feeling particularly mean, both! A giant, horrifying lava monster, and you've somehow still managed to make yourself the bad guy. I'm almost impressed. His name refers to the molten lava that seeps out of him and fills the cavern where he lives, so yes, it does sort of make sense. It's just the strangely clinical language that has turned him into a bit of a running gag. Digging into the origins of the name, it turns out that the original Japanese name for the boss directly translates as the thing that keeps being sore, but it's still quite a leap from that to, well, what we got.
You mean Ceaseless Discharge?
Yes, Ceaseless Discharge.
You gonna eat that?
Vamonos! The underworld lies just beyond the sound barrier.
How do you know? That's like super classified demon information.
Not according to the internet.
If there's one guy you can count on to come up with a ridiculous name, it's Japanese game developer Suda51, whose own name somehow includes a number. That's commitment to the bit. Suda's games have a history of excellent character names, including Mondo Zappa from Killer is Dead and Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes.
That puta wants to see if we have the balls to follow her.
Well, I think I can keep it up.
TMI Johnson.
But nothing tops Shadows of the Damned's foul-mouthed hero, Garcia Hotspur, who, we're pretty sure, actually has the middle name given how many times he introduces himself in exactly that way.
When demons hear the name Garcia Hotspur.
According to Mr. 51, Garcia's name comes from the English football team Tottenham Hotspur, which Suda thought sounded cool. Presumably the part came from him choosing the most common word he heard while standing in the crowd during a match.
That name is Garcia Hotspur, hunter of demons and slayer of pendejos like you!
That said, it does mean it's not a name you'll forget in a hurry, unlike the game's main villain, who is literally called Fleming What's-His-Faces.
Please, call me Fleming.
You might want to try adding a swear in there, Fleming, make it more memorable. Also, maybe a football team. You could be Fleming Head Arsenal. Yeah?
Come on, come on. Uppercut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great fighting for an up-and-coming boxer.
The Punch-Out series has some pretty bad form when it comes to naming characters. In general, the theme of the roster seems to be a parade of national stereotypes, like It's a Small World, only with slightly more punching. Just look at the Russian fighter in the NES version, Soda Popinski, or as he was known in the original Japanese version, Vodka Drunkensky.
Vodka Drunkensky.
If he's that drunk, how is he still kicking my ass? But at least, Vodka Drunkensky sounds like it could, at a stretch, be a name that a human being might have. After all, some Russian names do have ski on the end of them. The fighter from Italy in the original arcade version of Punch-Out was even less fortunate, ending up with a name that is literally just 2 of the foods available at an Italian restaurant.
Pizza pasta.
Did they get the game's design document mixed up with the takeout menu? It's not even like Pizza Pasta is some sort of novelty joke character either. This is a mean-looking boxer who, according to the game, is ranked number 2 in the world.
Great.
There's just something wonderfully silly about just naming a character after the things they habitually eat. It'd be like me being called, well, pizza pasta actually. Love that Italian food.
Video game character names don't get a lot sillier than Guilty Gear's sole bad guy. Yes, this long-time series favourite debuted in the very first Guilty Gear, and he is 184 centimetres of rippling muscle, topped with a mullet haircut that is business at the front and a 72-hour warehouse rave at the back.
Bounty hunter, remember? I only work when there's money on the table.
Very well. There is something I need to discuss with you.
You might be surprised to discover that Sole Bad Guy is considered the main protagonist and hero of the series, even though he's A, a surly jerk most of the time, and B, literally called Mr. Bad Guy, which implies the existence of an entire bad guy family. You know, Mrs. Bad Guy, Baby Bad Guy, Grandma Bad Guy. It turns out, though, that Sole Bad Guy's not his real birth name. Instead, it's Frederick Bulsara, which is a thinly veiled reference to Queen frontman Freddie Mercury's real name, Farouk Bulsara. According to Guilty Gear's convoluted plot, it was the authorities chasing him down for destroying a bunch of weapons plants who gave him the name Bad Guy, because they thought he was a bad guy.
Why are you so tough?
Which seems like the most low-effort character naming in the history of video games until you get to Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator and discover that the mysterious long-time series antagonist is called That Man. That Man? Well, I guess at least it's specific about which man.
Edge? I knew you'd be here.
Boy, I just can't get away from you, can I, Raimi?
The problem with anime...
I don't think we have the time, actually.
Okay, one of the problems with anime is that your heroic leads need to be totally badass, but also look like they're about 12 years old.
Remember how you'd always cry when I wasn't around? Sure took the fun out of playing hide and seek with you.
That was ages ago. How long are you going to keep treating me like a child?
One way of getting around this unsettling conundrum is to give your character a ridiculously cool name in order to bump up their badassery. And nowhere has that been done with more enthusiasm and less regard for what the character looks like than in the main character of Star Ocean: The Last Hope, who is, improbably, called Edge Maverick.
I'm Edge Maverick. You can call me Edge.
Edge Maverick! You can't not be a hero with a name like that. They're gonna throw your post office job application back in your face and tell you to go and become a fighter pilot. Edge does countless heroic things throughout Star Ocean: The Last Hope, but none of that changes the fact that he looks more like he's about to ask you for help with his maths homework than for help in defeating the Nox Obscurus.
Raimi! Get back to the colonists and bring backup!
Run!
I'll be fine! Run!
Still, I'm not sure the Star Ocean development team has ever met someone with a plausible name, if the rest of the cast is anything to go by.
Captain Crow F. Almedio of the SRF-001 Aquila.
Crow F. Almedio? No one's called Crow F. Almedio. That's got to be an anagram or something. Come back to me.
Okay, Jack. You can dive down with me, but when we reach the submarine, you will leave me alone. Agreed?
This is my boat and my equipment. You do what I say. Deep sea diving is not a walk in the park. You hired me, so get used to me covering your ass.
You remember Red Ocean, right? 2007 first-person shooter Red Ocean, set in an underwater base. I'm the only one who's played Red Ocean, aren't I? Alright, fine. Well, Red Ocean was a Bioshock-esque shooter that binned off all of the objectivist philosophizing and just went for the cool underwater complex. The plot is that a bunch of terrorists have commandeered a secret Soviet installation and there's only one man who can stop them. Jack Hard. Jack Hard, which is absolutely a name and not an instruction, is probably the result of the German developer looking at all the action hero names from other first-person shooter games, putting them into a giant word blender, and ending up with something that sounds utterly ridiculous. And while we never really see his face, we will never forget Jack Hard, because of how he reminds us of what you might be doing if you need to change a tyre on an SUV. And literally nothing else. After 2 hours of underwater goon shooting, you defeat the terrorists and Jack escapes the complex and rises to the surface in an evacuation pod.
Preston, you owe me a boat.
But the story ends there. Sadly, Red Ocean sold very few copies, reviewed extremely badly, and developer Collision Studios' last game was called Duck Hunting Challenge. So we'd say that the chances of us ever seeing a sequel are extremely slim, which means we'll never know what Jack Hard is up to these days. And no, we're not going to speculate. Honestly.
Probably jacking it.
Damn it! Ah!
Hammers.
Jack!
Hammers.
Jack! You must tell him. He is going to...
What's that?
Okay, I'm not coming up with much. I've got clam firewood as an anagram of Crow F. Almedio. It's probably not that. Fecal wood rim, maybe? No, it's probably no. Meadow frolic. That's quite nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, maybe the Star Ocean developers. It's a secret message. The next Star Ocean, you've heard it here first, will be set in a meadow and involve frolicking. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you want to watch more stuff from us, we've got a video up here which is about the ways that games punished you for going slow. And down here is a video from Outside Extra. It might not appeal to everyone, it's about horrifying spiders. But if that's your bag, then why not click on that and watch it? All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.
A bag of spiders.
Yeah, clam firewood.